welcome to another Drive-In Double Feature. I'm Ryan,
I'm Nathan.
and this is the podcast where we talk about two movies a week every Tuesday and Thursday. But before I got anything at all, we have a Patreon over at patreon.com/Drive-In Double Feature podcast. Nathan, I was at my local wrestling event this week, and I just went to go see some just mayhem out there, just some
Hmm.
good old grapplings. And there was a fan I was sitting next to, and you're like, wow, this is super intense, but not as intense as the Drive and Double Feature Patreon, where it's got some fun conversations, some really intense discussions about
Oh
them
yeah.
debating film, and just overall, and a really just nail biter over there that you can get for only $5 a month. I said, oh, okay. And they said, yeah, I hope Nathan and Ryan realize how much we care about them. And I said,
We do.
I think they know.
I think they know. How come you never let them know? You never felt like slipping it out?
I just gotta keep it. I couldn't be the man about town as I am if I just told everybody.
That's true. Yeah, you'd be hounded everywhere you go.
But like I said, it's only $5 a month. Doesn't affect any regular content. But today we're going to be talking about 1986's Bodyslam, which is directed by Hal Needham. He's
Hmm.
back.
He's back. Well, and Hal Needham's directed some very notable movies we've talked about here before that we really enjoyed.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to. I honestly, I wanted to talk about this movie specifically for a while, but Hal Needham directing it was just kind of a happy accident because
Okay.
it was one of those where I was just like, it's Hal Needham, he's directing it. And like you said, we both really enjoyed Smokey and the Bandit. We both enjoyed Hooper a lot. Um, for an action movie director, I think he did a great job for somebody that wasn't really meant to be a director. I'll say that. Like,
Yeah.
he's not didn't really seem like somebody that would make quality films like that, but he was able to do that.
Hmm.
This one, that remains to be seen. So this movie is, by you can tell by the title, it is a wrestling movie. And it stars Dirk Benedict, who you might know from the A Team. He plays Face.
Yep. Plays
So,
face.
and he's the main star of this movie. He plays Harry Smilak, and the main love interest is played by Tanya Roberts, or Candace, which you might know her. We talked about her before. She was
Yeah.
on, she was in A View to a Kill,
Yes. 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 Actually, I did know that.
and of course, she was Donna's mom in That '70s Show.
Holy crap. Oh my God, I didn't even make that connection. Wow.
So it's all people we've talked about before, and also the other big star of this movie is Roddy Piper. And again, we've talked about Roddy Piper before in
Yep.
movies. He plays Quick Rick Roberts. Harry Smilek kind of plays like this really down and out manager in the music industry. He kind of hasn't really had like a quality client, and he owes a bunch of people a bunch of money, and he's kind of at his wits' end until he ends up running into a chance meeting with Roddy Piper, or Quick Rick, who basically is being hounded by like a manager and like or a promoter of a wrestling organization, being like, hey, like, you're gonna go out there, you're gonna make this amount, and then he just kind of steps in, Harry Smilek, and just be like, oh no, my client right here, he needs his own dressing room, he needs his own
Hmm.
sneaker deal, he needs his own toy line. It's just it's like, who is this guy? And then uh, they kind of go from there where it's like he wasn't planning on doing that. He just was there to just butt in, I guess. Just like didn't even real
Oh yeah,
like
it
he
was
was
just a happy accident.
like he
Like,
was just there just to argue for the guy, just for the sake of arguing, I guess. And
yeah, I think just to get like like because he's so down on his luck. I guess he used to be so amazing, but he doesn't have any good clients anymore.
yeah, and he goes in and he kind of gets him this big role, like get like a big salary type of thing. And Quick Rick is just kind of like, hey man, you should be my manager type of thing. And he's like, ah, no, that was like a one-time deal. And he's like, well, how much would it be if you were my manager? And he like threw out like some ridiculous number that he thought in his mind. And he's just a quick Rick, Roddy Piper's just like, okay, that sounds fair. Like,
Well,
and
his
he's just like,
daughter,
huh?
because
Uh,
Roddy Piper has a
his
daughter.
niece.
Niece, sorry. She's just like, yep, you should do it. Like it's almost like it's like the one that helps him out on these decisions.
Yeah. It's, but the point is just like, he didn't realize what a gold mine the wrestling industry was. And just like, oh my God, these guys are making serious money here. And
Hmm.
now the thing is that uh, Quick Rick was managed by uh, Captain Lou Moreno
Yeah,
in the movie,
don't slip up on that one.
but is real, but basically playing Captain Lou Albano is basically playing himself, where he's just like a very loud mouth, like very cocky, like bad guy manager type of thing.
Hmm.
And that's the role that he's played up, is like, you stole my wrestler from me, like he was my client, you stole him from me. And this was kind of like, that is like the whole point of the movie, is just uh Harry Smilak was just kind of like teaming up with Quick Rick, and they end up getting another wrestler. I can't remember what he's called, Tonga
Tonga
Tom,
Tom. Yeah.
which that's also another real life wrestler, Sam Fatu, or the Tongan Kid.
Oh,
So
okay. So I was gonna ask you this because I knew Lou Albano. Is that how you say it? I
Albano, yeah.
yeah, I knew that his name was really close. Are most of the wrestlers, and maybe not Roddy Piper, but are most of these wrestlers, do they have names similar to their real wrestling names?
Uh, no,
Okay.
I mean, probably Tonga Tom is the closest, because that's Tongan Kid, Tonga Tom.
Yeah.
So that's it's not that far off, but like, um, they're only like well, the people in the crowd. I should take that back.
Well, yeah,
A
but
lot of people,
they're
those are
playing
real
themselves.
wrestlers. Yeah, they're playing themselves.
Yeah.
The only other two main wrestlers, there's like one where it's like Lou Albano's bodyguard. He's like a wrestler, like in real life, but he's nobody notable. He just kind of plays like this like Russian character, or
Hmm.
kind of, but he's not really Russian. And then you have like these other two, like the two cannibals, um, which the one cannibal with like the mohawk looking hairstyle, that's the he plays the barbarian in WWF. Like, he
Okay.
was originally part of a tag team with the Warlord. They were called the Powers of Pain, and then he did his own little singles career. But he was in the industry for a very long time, and like
Okay.
WWF, WCW, that type of thing. He'd been around the block.
Okay.
But no, he was nothing like that in the original one. Um, but yeah, this one, wrestling is very much played by like, oh, this is real. Like, this is like, these guys are actually in fights here.
Yeah, yeah. It's like watching almost like I guess like a Santa Claus movie where it's kind of like it plays it like it's real, where this is like wrestling where it's still a show, but they're playing it like the fights are actually like real. It's not like I'm managing this and you should do these moves kind of deal. So I mean, which is, I mean, probably the better way to go about it. I don't think that's a bad deal. Um, I
No,
I do want to say, I did read about the history of this movie. Sorry, Brian. This movie kind of doesn't look like it would be a theatrical movie, even though it was supposed to be. It did play in a few theaters, but it is definitely like it looks like a straight to video movie. It has that quality to it.
oh, was there some type of history you were gonna say
Oh
with it,
yeah,
or?
well yeah, I guess I'll go into it. This is Hal Needham's last movie or last
Uh-huh.
theatrical movie. He made TV movies after this. And I guess I mean you might have more info about like why that is, but I just know that it had a lot of issues when it was coming out. There were lawsuits that kind of stopped the movie. It got shown at a couple theaters, but otherwise it just went straight to VHS.
No, I'll be honest. I kind of came in a little unprepared. So, like, what were the?
How about this? I'll read it really quickly. Um because I it's kind
Is
of
it
gone from my head now. That's right. Okay.
so? Yeah, go ahead. You go ahead.
I there's not really any info like from what I'm reading on what they were fighting, but there were lawyers credited with writing the movie. And the lawyers were trying to change the script and from what Hal Needham was directing, because I guess Hal Needham was going in and fixing up the script, and these guys are like, no, don't change it. And actually, the star of this movie, Dick Benedict, fought with one of them, like had a physical altercation with the writer of this movie. And that just held up the movie because the movie was meant to have a summer release. It was supposed to be a big
I
movie.
see.
Yeah. But it's weird. It was supposed to be a big movie, but I don't think the quality of the movie lives up to a theatrical movie. When I
Eh,
was watching it, I was like, this is a direct to video movie.
yeah, it feels like it. I can that does make a lot more sense now. Because the only thing I read was just kind of like when they were shooting like this final scene of the movie, when they were kind of doing that, since this
Mhm.
was like a movie scene, they had to re-record it a bunch of times. That Roddy Piper and the Tonga Kid were basically having to like pull a lot of their punches to make it
Mhm.
look, like just because they didn't actually want to hit anybody when
Yeah.
they were doing it. And the crowd started booing them, thinking like, "Oh man, this is just fake. Like you're not actually fighting." And then
Mhm.
like Roddy Piper and them like basically like started shoving each other and like got into like a real fight quotes
Wow.
and like just to get the crowd like back on their side, like thinking it was like gonna like an actual fight was like a break, like oh dang, like type of thing.
Gotcha. That's interesting. Um, but no, I'll be honest with you. When this movie started, I was expecting something like really bad. I really did. I was kind of like a little like, oh, this is gonna be rough. It actually ended up being a fun little B movie. Like it wasn't great, but it was kind of fun. Like it was entertaining. I thought Dick Benedict, he's playing a very characterized
Or
silly. Oh, sorry. I think I just kept saying that. Dirk Benedict, he plays a really funny character because he's just full of himself. He's a stereotypical yuppie manager who will lie just about anything. And I actually thought he played this character well. I don't know. I thought he was actually pretty funny.
I didn't care for it that much.
Look at us this week. We're disagreeing.
Both of them, I know. Um, I I don't know. Like I thought it was pretty dull, to be honest. Where it was
Wow.
just kind of like I didn't really think there was really much going on with this, and especially the two love interests in here, where it's
Well, yeah.
like that romance. I'm just like these two do not have like any chemistry together, in my
Yeah,
opinion. And
I do think their romance was a little odd because the joke is it's like because he keeps like making fun of her mom in front of her, like something like that, because he has to do a music show for like some senator, and he's like, oh, this is the lowest I've ever been in my career. um and they play off each other, and I was honestly surprised that they ended up together, like in a way, because it didn't really work.
I didn't think it worked either. I just kind of like it more felt like, well, he needs a love interest to be, and I just didn't even think like he was even like that appealing of a character to you. Like he was just so slimy, I thought. Like I'm like, how
Really?
could like I thought he would like I can understand like because he was doing like the bit where like he came on super strong and it kind of scared her away at first, and then he was
Hmm.
kind of like doing like the whole like, oh no, like if you're uncomfortable, like we could just leave right now. Like, I can
Hmm.
drive you home type of thing. And he drives her home, and then he gets like into the car, like, and he like pretends like falling, like, oh, I hurt myself, like I need you to nurse me back. And I'm just
Uh-huh. I don't know. I thought it was kind of silly because he's so over the top about it the whole movie. This like slimy sleaze bag thing going on. Um, there's like that.
well, no,
Oh,
you
God.
got
There's that plot line running through this whole movie. where he has Korean people that he owes money that keep coming back and destroying his car because he has two giant bodyguards, this little Korean guy. And God, it does that thing that we talked about and we'll continue to talk about where they walk in and it does like I'm pretty sure it does the da 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 da, even though they're Korean. And also it does a gong noise a few times. It goes bong, of
Of
course.
course.
And then the joke the whole movie is that he keeps getting their race wrong, right? He keeps going like, oh, I forget what he says, but he references like Japan and like Vietnam, and of course they're like, no, I'm Korean. So
Yeah.
yeah, of course.
I kind of thought it was I I don't know, I didn't really laugh at anything. I mean, I didn't really
Mhm.
think there wasn't really any joke in there that I thought was kind of, well, I take that back. It was just like when they were doing like the interview scene or whatever, when it was like they got like the three managers like all
Mhm.
in like a room together, and he had like the guy, what's his name, Bill Batty or whatever his name is,
I don't
um,
remember.
the little person.
Yes, yeah, the little person, yeah.
Yeah, I think his name is, yeah, Billy Batty,
Okay.
Billy Barty. Yeah,
He was a baddie
he
though.
he I thought it was kind of funny, like, them doing like the little like bits where like they couldn't say anything short related, and it's like, oh yeah, it was kind of short. It's like, hey, watch it, type of thing, and just like that type of bit was kind of funny when they were just like all playing off each other, I
Hmm.
thought. And you had Charles Nelson Riley in there, like that was like the host of the show,
Hmm.
and they said they're like, oh, it's like this is the squared circle, like this is the biggest talk show ever, and it's just like,
It's like three dudes
uh,
on the stool on
well, I mean,
stools.
it's like about wrestling, and
Yeah, but
like
they
not
say it's only the biggest talk show in the world.
they say that it's only the biggest talk show, like there's just no other event out there.
I guess that's what I
Um,
kind of thought was funny about it. Like the way this movie treats wrestling is like the biggest thing in the world. The thing that'll make you the most money and like everything. Um
so just to give some context of like where wrestling was at this point
mhm.
in the world is wrestling right now is like super white hot because this is like 1 year outside of WrestleMania.
Gotcha.
So the very first WrestleMania.
Okay.
So, and this is like when rock and wrestling were kind of like going hand in hand, at least in the WWF at the time, where it was like you had people like Cyndi Lauper showing up, you had Mr. T,
Mhm.
and you had a bunch of other like really famous people just like coming out together for like this big wrestling spectacle where it's like treated like this as a very big deal. But so, and this movie was kind of like doing that theme with it, was like, oh, like what if we combined rock and wrestling in the same time? Like, if we just have like a wrestling ring and then we have like a band just like, playing in the background, like
Mhm.
wouldn't that be really cool type of thing? And that's so it is kind of following like what the trend was at the time. And you know, so I can kind of see what they were going with there. Um, I don't really think, like, I would have leaned a little more heavier into like the wrestler. Like I don't really think we got enough of the wrestlers really that much, like to really like get much of a personality. Like Roddy Piper and Lou Albano are like two very big
Oh
personalities in the
yeah.
wrestling world. Like they have a ton of charisma. They're very larger than life characters, and maybe a little bit of Lou Albano in this movie, but like Roddy Piper is just a guy, like pretty
Yeah,
much.
he plays
Like,
it pretty straight in this movie, doesn't he?
yeah,
I do think it's kind of funny how he plays it kind of like I don't know how to explain it. Kind of dumb, where like in a way it's like he doesn't understand why the manager would be weirded out by this situation because there's two wrestlers that work for Lou that keep attacking him, and Roddy Piper's like, oh yeah, no, that's just the way it is. They're gonna attack
Uh,
us, kind of deal.
yeah. Well, I mean, that's kind of like the deal, like in wrestling, where it's like the bad guys come and beat up the good guys, and like they leave them like all laid out.
Hmm.
Now, mind you, it doesn't show you like the aftermath of them like recovering or whatever, but
Yeah.
that's what you would imagine. Like if they're like if like wrestling was real like that when they get laid out, you'd think they'd be like, oh, like in a hospital bed for like for days, like, oh, I'm hurt, so hurt, and they're doing that. And like I was kind of thinking like they're gonna go through like this big redemption arc for Harry
Hmm.
Smilac, and he kind of gets one a little bit
Yeah.
where he's just like, because at that time he was just like, I'm not your manager anymore. He's like, I got this thing where I don't like seeing people, I like getting beat up.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I
that's
think
just kind of
his arc is just he becomes sincere, right? Like because before he's like slimy, and now he's slimy, but still is like, I care for the
he,
people I manage now.
yeah, he cares for these people.
Yeah.
And I, I thought it was very unearned. Like I didn't really
Hmm.
I'm not trying to I didn't hate the movie. It sounds like I hate it, but I didn't hate it. Like it just there just wasn't a whole lot in there that I was invested in.
No, and I totally get that. I mean, I'm not saying this is a great movie by any means, and it's plenty has plenty of issues, and it's definitely like it feels very cheap. I guess I just kind of got some light entertainment out of it. Like, it was like fun enough for me. I liked seeing like the wrestling that they did at one point. I think this is so funny. I'm over here like, yeah, I like the wrestling movie.
And you
Uh,
see the rest there were so many wrestling
yeah,
parts in there that weren't accurate.
oh, I'm sure I was watching it and I felt like it wasn't accurate. Like the tag team stuff didn't seem accurate at all because it's for the tag team world championship because it's a tag team wrestling movie. Roddy Piper with Tonga
Yeah.
Tom. And that all those fights didn't look like they also for one didn't look realistic. You think in a movie where wrestling is like not faked or anything, they would make it look more real. But no, it looks well, no, it looks even worse than wrestling. No, it looks really bad.
No, and I thought that I've always thought that like wrestling could look there have been like there was like one wrestling promotion where I think they took like a more cinematic approach to wrestling called Lucha Underground, which
Hmm.
I thought was really exceptional and took it like in a totally different direction. But with something like the thing with wrestling is like there are no second takes a lot
Yeah.
of times. It's like you either do the move right or you totally just fall flat on your face and you look
Hmm.
then you but here it's like why wouldn't you just do it over and over again until it just looks perfect?
That's what I also thought that. I was like, why wouldn't you make it if the wrestling's supposed to be real, why didn't you make it look real? Like like they actually hit each other. But I guess maybe they were going by that rule where it's just like, oh, we're just gonna do as little takes as we can. Um,
Right. Well, and I mean, I don't know, like, because this was directed by Hal Needham, and as much as we did like him as, uh, and for the movies that he did, I don't think, he's like this exceptional director either. It was just kind of
mhm.
like he just had like a really good formula. He had something like Burt Reynolds like attached to it, who's like
That's what I was gonna say.
super super charismatic and just like people loved him and
Hmm.
it was really hard to just go wrong. Like pretty much if you just like go put Bert in a movie and let him do his thing, it was
It was a hit.
people were gonna like it.
And I mean, like that star power even read through, and it had enough action to keep it interesting. Hooper, for one, kind of based off of Hal Needham in a way, because it's about a stunt driver.
Hmm.
Whereas this, maybe Hal Needham's a little out of his comfort zone. Also, it seemed like he was on the tail end of his career because after this, he just goes straight to TV movies. Maybe his heart wasn't in it.
And
And then
but I mean that's not even like that far though from his directorial
it's
debut. This is
true.
like I mean this is what like 10
A
years,
little over 10 years, yeah.
so I mean it's not like he's had like this real storied career because I mean I remember after Hooper, I mean if you look at his credits and I think he even did like another Burt Reynolds movie
He did the
and it just
Cannonball
didn't.
Run
He
too.
did that one, which that's a good one, but
Mhm.
I know he's done a lot of not so good movies too.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, he did Stroker Ace, which I don't think is considered like. great, right?
Not from what I've heard, no. But
Yeah, but yes, yeah, and he did the sequel. He did Rad, which we have covered here, which Rad was right before this one. So yeah, I don't know. You're probably right. He probably isn't actually that great of a director, and it's
I,
starting to show here. Maybe the personality isn't there because oh, this movie stars Face from A-Team. Okay, like I'm not dying to see that.
no, and I mean, I just I just don't think there's anything exceptional in the movie. And just as a wrestling fan, I didn't really think I got my fill of wrestling even that much.
Hmm.
And I thought someone like and I just like I said, like you got someone like Roddy Piper, who's like this super larger than life type of guy. He was in like They Live, and you know, hell
Frogtown.
comes to hell comes to Frogtown. I was gonna say that, and just like that movie wasn't great. I don't, at least I remember, but he was like, like seen, he was really good. I mean, he was like,
Yeah, he's fun in that,
he
and
was
he
a
was
lot of fun
funny.
in that type of, yeah. So I just seemed like the type of movie like you would just let him like go all out a little bit more on. But overall, I would say I wasn't really a fan of it. It's not awful by any means, but I can't say that it was good either. So I would have to say this is a not recommend for me.
For me, it's kind of like you were with Flowers for in the attic. It's hard for me to like give it a recommend because, like I said, it's not a great movie by any means, and I think that's why I'm going to give it a not recommend, even though I kind of enjoyed it. It was fun. I was entertained during it, but is it something that people need to see? God, no. Watch. You can watch something else. I just feel like, for what it was, I had a good time.
Sure.
Yeah.
Uh, well, I think we're going to be tapping out the body slam here,
Yeah.
Nathan.
Hmm.
And so, Nathan, what are we going to be talking about next time?
Well, Ryan, it's time to get back to it. It's been a month, so it is time for some uh have we come up with a name for it yet? Sawzilla?
Jigsville.
You know what? Let's do it. Jigzilla. We're doing back at it again with Jigzilla month or week, and we're going to be talking about Saw 3. But Ryan, what are we covering on Thursday?
Nathan, we're going to be diving back into the Heisei era with Godzilla. We're going to be talking about Godzilla versus Biolante. And I know that one for sure is streaming over on the Criterion channel.
Now that one has a standalone Criterion release, which is kind of crazy to me. Um,
Buzz.
yeah. But yeah, I'm excited.
Yep. So if you have any thoughts and opinions, please email us over at drivein-double-feature-podcast@gmail.com. Don't forget to check out our Patreon at patreon.com/drive-and-double-feature-podcast, and check out our YouTube channel, youtube.com/drive-and-double-feature. But until next time.
Until next time.